Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this special event organized by the ISACA student chapter at NSBM Green University. It is a pleasure to have you all here today for what promises to be a highly informative and engaging session on cybersecurity career guidance. First and foremost, I would like to extend a warm and respectful welcome to our esteemed guest speaker, Mr. Joseph Vimal. Mr. Vimal, we are honored to have you with us today and look forward to hearing your invaluable insights and experiences in the field of cybersecurity. I also want to extend a heartfelt welcome to all our participants who have joined us today. Your presence here shows your dedication to learning and growing in the dynamic field of cybersecurity. Whether you are a new student eager to explore this field or an existing student preparing to take your first steps into the industry, we are thrilled to have you with us. Today's session is designed to provide you with valuable insights and practical advice on navigating and building a successful career in cybersecurity. We hope you find this session both enlightening and inspiring. Thank you all for being here, and let's embark on this exciting journey into the world of cybersecurity together.
Now, let me give you a brief overview of what we have planned for today. Our session will dive into several crucial aspects of cybersecurity. We will start with an introduction to the fascinating world of cybersecurity, where we will uncover the basics and why it's such a vital field in today's digital age. Following that, we will move on to the providing career guidance, offering you a valuable insight and advice on how to navigate and succeed in a cybersecurity career. Our esteemed speaker will then share his extensive expertise in cybersecurity, enriched with practical demonstrations if time permits, giving you a first-hand look at the skills and knowledge needed in this field. After this presentation, we will have an engaging Q&A session, allowing you to ask your burning questions.
Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed guest speaker, Mr. Joseph Vimal. Mr. Vimal is a cybersecurity researcher, and he is currently working as a cybersecurity consultant. He brings a wealth of experience in the field of cybersecurity, having worked as a consultant for FireCompass and as a full-stack JavaScript developer. He is also a passionate musician, integrating his values and creativity into his professional life. We are honored to have him with us today.
Thank you very much.
Without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Joseph Vimal to take the virtual stage and share his insights and experiences with us. Mr. Vimal, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And thank you for inviting me to take part in this event. It's a great pleasure to be here. Let me share my screen. I have some slides with that. Is my screen visible? Hello, is my screen visible?
No.
No?
Yes.
It is not.
Okay.
It is not.
Okay. So let me give you a brief introduction to myself. I'm a Roman Catholic first, a dad, a loving husband, a pianist and a violinist, and finally I would be a cybersecurity researcher. When it comes to my music and my cybersecurity career, I'm mostly self-taught. I learned things through trial and error, and that's how I got this far. I received my first computer when I was just 20 years old. And initially, I started experimenting with it, and I was really keen on finding out what it could do. At that time, I would hear incidents of, I would hear news broadcasts on various cybersecurity incidents that had happened. And I was really keen on getting into that field. But at that time, there were Udemy, that was about 20 years ago, YouTube wasn't in existence. And there were very little learning resources out there. But there were no degrees specializing in cybersecurity as such, so it was really hard to embrace that topic at first. So I did the next best thing. I decided to learn about web development. I was involved as a web developer for close to 14 years. Until one day in January of 2018. Hello, am I audible? Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir. You can hear me.
Oh, okay. So until one day in January of 2018, I received an email from my web hosting provider saying that they have to suspend all my websites, and saying that I was hosting a phishing scam on those sites. Later on, I discovered that malware had been dropped onto my local area network. And you people might have heard of the DNS spoofing attack, but basically the attacker redirected, when I tried to log into my website control panel, he redirected me to what is called a fake login page and stole my credentials for that. Well, they must have been spying on me through my web camera as well. It was scary as well as an exciting experience at the same time. Yeah. Following that, I just did nothing for 3 months. I enabled MFA on all my accounts, and I shut down my computers for 3 months. So I'm a victim of a cybersecurity incident as well. This particular incident, it aroused my curiosity in cybersecurity once again. And I initially followed some YouTube videos and then purchased some Udemy courses on the topic. My web development experience also helped immensely, and I started out as a web pen tester. Sometime later, I used to hear about the various ransomware attacks in the news, and all these hospitals being hacked and all these ransomware incidents, and I was keen on finding out how they worked. And I followed a few red teaming certifications. And Altered Security offered several red teaming certifications that I followed, and I got myself certified in that field. Now I'm moving on to artificial intelligence and how to combine artificial intelligence into cybersecurity. I'm moving into that field. Yeah. That's enough about myself. Let's let me stop sharing. Okay. So I was asked to give an introduction to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting data and computer systems from unauthorized access. Let's look at how this all started out. In 1971, that was where the first computer virus was introduced. It was called the Creeper virus. And it was an experimental virus. And it had self-replicating abilities. Okay, it was able to copy itself. And it was developed by a researcher called Bob Thomas, and it affected what was precursor to the modern internet. It affected the ARPANET. And it just displayed a message saying, I'm a creeper, catch me if you can. Okay, you can see it in the top right corner of the slide. Okay. A few years later, a researcher called Robert Morris in 1988, he invented a virus called the Morris worm. This was something that grabbed a lot of mainstream media attention. It was intended to measure the size of the internet, but it just exploited vulnerabilities in Unix system and just spread all over the internet, causing a lot of disruption. And if you take the elk clone example, it was developed by Richard Skrenta, also a researcher, and it affected personal devices like the Apple II personal computer. It moved laterally via floppy drives. So, and it just displayed a poem on the system boot. Yeah. The Hanover hacker case, it can be attributed to a cyber espionage incident. A group of German hackers led by Karl Koch, they hacked into US government websites and US government computer systems and exfiltrated data that they later provided to Russian intelligence services. Okay. So let's look at what goals a cyber attack has. Okay, cyber attacks can have various goals, from changing data. The aim of a cyber attack can vary from changing data to destroying, extorting money, and disrupting services. When it comes to changing data, in the year 2016, if I recall clearly, the Russian athletes were accused of taking drugs, performance enhancing drugs. So what they did in retaliation to that was the Fancy Bear APT group. They hacked into the World Anti-Doping Agency computer systems and they leaked data belonging to US athletes. Later on, it was discovered that some of this data was actually changed. So that is an incident of where changing data can be applicable in a cyber attack. The Saudi Aramco incident, it was attributed to Iran. It affected close to 30,000 computers in the Saudi Aramco facility. They were the data on them was just wiped off. And burning American flag was displayed at the end of the attack. You people might have heard of ransomware attacks, CASA, VSA, the supply chain attack, plus the WannaCry incident. The WannaCry affected 150 countries globally. The UK national health sector was severely impacted. Operations had to be cancelled. Surgeries had to be cancelled. Doctor consultations, they all had to be cancelled. The Maersk NotPetya incident, the NotPetya virus, it appeared to be a ransomware, but later on it was similar to a disruptor malware. After it spread globally, the Maersk shipping line was severely impacted by the ransomware, and they lost millions of dollars in business. So now we have seen the aim of cyber attacks. Cyber attacks can also endanger national security. Okay. The Stuxnet incident of 2010. Stuxnet was a virus that affected the Iranian nuclear facilities, and it set their nuclear weapons program back by several years. The nuclear facility was severely impacted, and the turbines or whatever were destroyed. It was the first time a computer virus caused damage in the physical world. Okay. And but Iran has regrouped and come back, and now their nuclear weapons program is back on track, and they're also one of the top cyber powers nowadays. We must give them credit for that. The SolarWinds attack, another incident when national security was endangered, was a supply chain attack. The Russian GRU, they hacked into SolarWinds software producer, and they implanted what was known as malicious code within the software supply chain. Once that software moved downstream, close to 18,000 organizations were infected along with Microsoft, and it ended up being a large-scale espionage campaign. Sensitive data was exfiltrated back to Moscow. We've seen NotPetya and WannaCry. When it comes to the Estonian cyber attacks, I think that was the first time a large-scale distributed denial of service was carried out to disrupt Estonian government institutions and financial institutions in an attempt to cripple their economy. It was also attributed to Russia, so we can see Russia and Iran as being some of the top cyber players nowadays. Okay, we'll focus on the importance of the cyber attack, importance of cybersecurity. Okay, so cybersecurity can have a lot of reputational damage. Okay, and also a lot of financial damage. An organization can incur a lot of reputational financial damage. Okay, imagine you're the customer of an e-commerce site, okay, and it comes under cyber attack. If they're storing their customer data on the back end, you could think you could lose trust in them. If they're storing their credit card information on the back end, then you could lose trust in them. Okay, if they are not storing credit card information on the back end, you will still lose trust in them because your personally identifiable information could be lost. Okay, and your customers could move on to your competitors. Okay, brand devaluation, cyber attack can severely tarnish your brand image. Okay. If your company is a market leader and it suffers some kind of cyber attack, they could lose that position to their competitors. Your stock price could devaluate. Okay, and if you keep this incident a secret, it comes out later on, it's even more devastating. Negative media coverage, once again, okay, your customers could lose trust in you, and brand devaluation, okay. Negative media coverage could result in all of that. If you take a look at financial damage, there are direct costs that can be incurred. You'll have to spend on incident response, cyber forensics. There are organizations that are set up to protect customer data. Organizations that are set up to protect customer data can impose legal charges on you. You'll have to incur a lot of legal fees due to that. And loss of revenue. When your systems are offline, okay, it would result in decrease of sales and so on and so forth. You may have to pay a high insurance premium if you come under cyber attack. The long-term costs, well, all of the above can contribute to the long-term costs, which is quite significant. If you ever want to handle a cybersecurity incident, you'll have to handle it the way Norsk Hydro handled it. Okay, so in March of 2019, Norsk Hydro, it's a Norwegian aluminium producer, one of the largest in the world. Okay, they have operations in over 50 countries, and they suffered a ransomware attack by the ransomware operator called LocoGogo. Okay, even the digital clocks that were functioning at the organization ceased to function, and they had to resort to pen and paper, basically. Even employees who had retired were brought back in to help them recover from the disaster. But the way they handled it, their reputation was actually bolstered. They were very transparent. They informed the public and all the stakeholders. They had press conferences from time to time. And they are the ones who set the standard on how to handle a cybersecurity incident. But the financial damage was quite significant. Okay. And the operation downtime caused them to lose a lot of revenue in sales. Remediation costs for incident response, for cyber forensics, IT recovery, and other cybersecurity expenses cost them quite a lot. The ransom payment was less than $10 million, but for some reason, they refused to pay the ransom, and the recovery cost was some $80 million. Okay. So what are the key takeaways from this? Have a solid incident response plan and be transparent. Implement robust cybersecurity practices. Okay. Previously, when wars were waged, we saw only 3 fronts. Okay. Land, sea, and air. The Russia-Ukraine conflict, it introduced the 4th domain of war, the cyber domain. Okay. So even before the actual invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022, there were some pre-conflict cyber attacks. The NotPetya attack was also something that Ukraine was involved in, and there were several attacks on Ukraine's power grids, on the power grid. The operators of the power grid, they were virtually locked out of their keyboards, and they could see the threat actor moving around and clicking stuff on their screen and turning off the subsystems. Okay. Then there was a disruption of government and financial services through denial of service attacks. It impeded those organizations to communicate with each other. And it severely affected the economy. There was a lot of propaganda and misinformation war as well. To alter public opinion, they created fake Facebook posts, I guess, and that was one way the war was waged as well. When it comes to destruction of data, prior to the invasion, the Whispergate malware was released. It's a data wiping malware. It affected the master boot record and just wiped it clean. And that's that can be considered as a destruction of data incident. When it comes to cyber espionage, it's still ongoing with both sides trying to gather as much intel as they can on the other to give them a strategic advantage in the conflict. In future wars, mostly the cyber domain will be in use. Okay. We've seen targeting critical infrastructure. If the water supply or the power grid or the transportation sector is targeted in a preemptive strike, it could cause chaos within the civil population. Okay. Disabling weapon systems. Most modern day weapon systems, they have all some kind of computer driven component in it. Okay. If they are able to disable such a system, as happened with the Iron Dome, where Iranian hackers disabled the Iron Dome in one instance. Okay, so that can be considered an instance where a weapon system was disabled through a cyber attack. Psychological operations we have seen already. Economic warfare, once again, we have seen that as well. Misinformation also we have seen, and supply chain attacks. Take, for example, there's a military supply chain that depends on hardware and software components. If a supply chain attack is carried on a military supply chain, once again, your opponent could lose their military advantage. Okay. Finally, let's see how artificial intelligence is used can be used as a cyber weapon. In 2019, there was an incident. I can't remember the country it occurred in, but an employee of organization thought he was receiving a call from his boss. Okay. And he was asked to transfer millions of dollars to a certain account. And he was kind of skeptical about it, but he was promised a promotion, and then he followed up with it. And later on, it was found out that he was communicating with an AI voice clone. Okay. Back in those days, there were no publicly available voice cloning and video cloning technologies available. So the attacker probably developed his own custom voice clone. Okay. And very recently in Hong Kong, an employee took part in a video conference call that he thought he was communicating with his colleagues, but it was actually an AI-driven video clone of several of his employees. So modern day, if you take an email, something like MDO, Microsoft Defender for Office, it's designed to protect your emails from malware-laden emails and stuff. But can it protect you from an AI-driven voice or video clone? So it can't. Okay. So that's also can be considered a social engineering attack as well. When it comes to disinformation, I've seen videos of politicians, of Donald Trump, Joe Biden, okay. Fake AI voice and video clones are used to provide those, create those disinformation videos, okay. They say things that will, favor the opponent. I've seen videos of Mr. Narendra Modi also dancing on a stage. So those are all disinformation campaigns designed by AI voice and video clones. And AI-driven malware. Okay, this is a subject I'm really interested in. Researchers, especially Jeff Sims from IS Labs and the CyberArk team, they have developed what is called polymorphic malware. Malware that changes all the time. So it's hard for a signature-based system to detect it. And even malware that can think and act, evade and strike, okay? That's how they've described their malware. I'll give you an example of something I built through the white paper I downloaded from IS Labs. So current day defensive systems, what do they look for? Remote process injection, suspicious API calls. But AI-driven malware does nothing of the sort, totally opposite. And they're able to evade the modern defensive systems, okay? Let's have a look at an overview of the cybersecurity sectors, okay? If you take the network sector, it involves protecting data whilst it's in transit, okay? You'll have to work with firewalls, configuring firewalls, intrusion detection systems, network intrusion detection systems, VPNs of the sort. If you're involved in that sector, you'll have to get involved in that, okay? Cloud security is a growing field. It's very easy to provision a VM and any sort of computing resource online with cloud computing. But that also brings a lot of that a security misconfiguration can result in all your cloud instances being hacked. Okay. On a previous engagement, when we were asked to set up phishing infrastructure out there, we set up a VM on Microsoft Azure. Immediately, what we noticed was there were these bots and stuff scanning it, looking for direct traversal vulnerabilities in it, scanning it for RDP to see whether they could access through RDP. So cloud. So if you are fluent in cloud security, you can protect those assets from these bots and various cybersecurity threats that it would face. When it comes to application security, we've seen fixing vulnerabilities in code using tools like SAST and DAST. Okay. Identity and access management, IAM, it's also another interesting field. On Microsoft Azure, the IAM solution would be Azure Active Directory. So this allows granular level control over your assets. But we've seen attackers compromising IAM, Azure Active Directory, and through that compromising high-value accounts and high-value assets. It's another field you could look into. Okay. Endpoint security is what I'm involved in. Okay. It involves from developing antivirus and EDR solutions to even attacking them. Okay, that's a field I'm involved in. Not only that, even computer systems, phones, IoT devices, they all fall into the endpoint security category. Okay. Data security would involve stuff like data loss protection tools. Now at my current workplace, we are very careful about client information being taken out of our office laptops. So we have implemented DLP systems on our office laptops. Okay. Whenever, if someone was to send out an email from his office laptop to a personal account using client data, then the DLP system comes into effect and it blocks that email from going through. With security operations and incident response, you will be basically sitting in a facility similar to a SOC or something, and you'll be monitoring incidents and how to handle them. Okay, so those are the sectors. When it comes to the global cybersecurity market, the market will significantly grow. Okay, because cybercrime is on the rise, so the market is also going to grow, possibly even exponential. Cybercrime is said to bring in trillions of dollars of revenue, and cybersecurity will bring in maybe about hundreds of billions of dollars of revenue. So cybercrime has the advantage. Okay. If you take a look at the growth drivers, of course, increasing frequency of cybersecurity attacks, adoption of IoT devices. There's the new bring your own device policy at certain organizations where you can bring your own device to work. Okay, those can introduce a lot of new threats. Okay, so those are some of the growth drivers. If you take a look at the regional markets, unfortunately, North America and Europe and Asia Pacific, those are the strongest regional markets for cybersecurity. But not to worry, if you ever end up starting your own cybersecurity consultancy, okay, you can target those markets. Okay, the North American or the Europe market. You could use social media tools to promote your business in those regions to clients in those regions. Okay, that's something you could do. If you look at the key players, Checkpoint, CyberArk, Palo Alto. Okay, the key player market is dominated mostly by startups. It's a mix of top companies as well as startups, but the startups are known to innovate and move faster. Whereas the top companies, they are kind of bureaucratic, and it's hard to innovate and it's hard to innovate and move at a rapid pace at one of the top companies. But if you were to get involved in a startup or start your own startup, you could innovate really fast. So that is something you people better look into. Okay. Why would you want to pursue a career in cybersecurity? Okay. Of course, there is once again a growing demand since the amount of cyber attacks are growing, and there's a lack of skilled professionals in the field. Okay, that's something we've seen quite a lot. You'll always be entitled to a competitive salary when compared to the other fields of IT. If you are involved in cybersecurity, you will definitely have a competitive salary. Your work nature will be really critical. That's one reason you'll have a competitive salary. Okay. If you're interested in constant learning, okay, it's a field of IT, it's constantly changing. You want to learn continuously, okay. This is another reason you should get into science. What else? Okay, you'll be doing a lot of impactful work. You'll not only be involved in protecting national security, but you could, okay, say for example, your country is under threat in some way. You could defend it or attack your opponent. You could protect national security literally by getting involved in cybersecurity. You could make a business very successful through this. There are a variety of roles involved, from various defensive roles to offensive roles, okay? And something I'm very fond of is innovation, okay? I like to do stuff that very few people have done before. So if you're keen on innovating and doing exceptional things, this is the field to get into, okay? Global opportunities. Okay, you don't need to go abroad, go overseas and work for a foreign company. You could just work from the comfort of your home, like I've done throughout my career as a cybersecurity professional. Okay, I'm someone who worked mostly from home. Okay, so flexible working hours, working from home. Okay, those are the benefits. You could take breaks in between, and you could do your studies in between. Okay, when you're working from home, another benefit of getting into this field. Job security. Okay, since there's a big demand for the for professionals in this field, and there are very little skilled individuals, okay, your job security will be guaranteed. There's a extremely good potential for you to become an entrepreneur, okay. If you have the skills, you could start your own consultancy. If you have the coding skills, you could develop a tool, some kind of cybersecurity tool, and make it available on a subscription basis. That's something you could do. Community, when it comes to the cybersecurity community, it has a very big community, and the people are willing to collaborate. Okay, you can start your own Discord group, your own Telegram channel, and if you, let's say on Discord, and you notice someone's good at on the Hack the Box channels, that there's a very skilled individual, you could invite him to your Discord channel and build your network. You could collaborate with him. Okay, I discovered my first CVE. There was this one individual on Discord whom I constantly speak with. He helped me find my first CVE. It was related to a SAP login portal. Okay. And let's look at the career paths. Okay. Okay. In the field of information security, the concept of blue team and red team refer to opposing groups. Okay. They both simulate, the blue team simulates defensive roles and the red team simulates offensive roles. Okay. If you take a look, if you are looking for a career opportunity in the blue team field, you could become an incident responder. There are individuals who investigate after cybersecurity incident has occurred. Okay. A security engineer, someone who designs secure infrastructure so that it's protected from the cyber attack in the first place. Forensic analyst, someone who investigates malware samples and digital evidence, okay, and who is involved, then who could help in legal proceedings after that, okay. You could be involved in a security as a SOC analyst who works within a dedicated facility to monitor and defend against threats, okay. Then there's the red team path. You could be a security consultant who provides advice on how to protect and respond to cyber threats. Pen tester, someone who simulates cyber attacks against an organization to discover vulnerabilities. Okay. A social engineer, someone who uses deception and manipulation to will gain access to unauthorized systems, okay? And exploit developer, someone who creates tools to breach security and defenses. Okay, that's another role you could look into. Red team operator, someone who participates in full-scale adversary simulations against a blue team to test the defenses of an organization. Okay. In my career, I would have, I'm mostly involved in the offensive role. In my career, I would have been involved in all of these roles. Yeah. We did some very interesting phishing and red teaming. We have done some very interesting phishing and red teaming engagements. Okay. So in my career, I would have been involved in all of those offensive roles. Some of the certifications to follow, I would always advise you to follow certifications that provide you with real world skills. Okay, I can't specifically mention any certification, but do some research and try to focus on the certification that gives you the most real world skills. Okay, apart from your university degrees, okay, from what I was studying for. Think about it. Okay. You have to learn continuously in this field. It's a field of IT, it's constantly changing. Okay. Once again, focus on maybe the certification that gets you through HR won't be the most appropriate certification for you. Okay. HR is looking for one type of certification, but if you're looking for real world skills, that is the most important thing in this field. Okay. Try to go after certifications that give you the most real world skills. If you're looking for since you people are definitely looking for a position in the field, do your best to attend conferences. DEF CON and Black Hat are quite expensive and they're not hosted in Sri Lanka, but if you have the funding, just go for those events. Okay, or you could attend some sort of conference, cybersecurity conference in Sri Lanka, some sort of conference. Okay. Using platforms like LinkedIn. I've seen certain LinkedIn profiles without a profile picture. Okay, make sure you have a profile picture on your LinkedIn page. Okay, update the about us, about me sections on LinkedIn. Okay, keep it nicely updated. Have make sure your CVs are updated. Practice before going into an interview. Okay. And one more thing about LinkedIn is I want to tell you, if you learn something new, create a video about it or a post and post it on LinkedIn. Okay. That's one way your future employees might see you. Okay. Some tips from my end. Okay. When it comes to learning and skill development, okay, create a timetable. Take down a notebook. I have my notebook right here. Okay, you can get yourself a notebook and create a timetable. Jot down the stuff you have to do within a day, within a particular day. Okay. Be very patient. Okay. Consistent and persevere. Patience is important. I got to this position over a long period of time. Okay, you must be consistent. Everything if you're a musician, you play an instrument, try to play it daily. Maybe you can't play it for 1 hour daily, play it for at least 5 minutes. Okay. If you're involved in coding in the cybersecurity field, just try to write at least 1 line of code if not possible. If you can't do a big thing, just try and write at least 1 line of code every day. Keep going at it. Keep persevering. After some time, you'll improve. Okay. Always try to improve. Once again, I like to stress the fact when you're taking certifications, make sure you take certifications with the correct skills that will provide real world skills. Learn coding. Okay. Now, most people say you don't need coding to get into cybersecurity. Yes, at times you may not need it. But what I've noticed is if you are to advance in the field, you definitely need to learn coding. Okay. Take, for example, tools on GitHub. Now, recently there was a CV released for OpenSSH. Okay, it allows remote code execution as an unauthenticated user, and you get root level access. There's an exploit available for it on GitHub, but someone was telling me that he can't compile it. No, you can compile it. But the developer of the tool has introduced flaws into it to stop the script kiddies from running them. So if you want to fix those tools and progress in the field, you must learn coding, okay? Start with the easy programming language and then move on to onto the harder language. Start with HTML if possible. It's not a programming language, it's a markup language, but you can start with that. Then you can move on to JavaScript, Node.js, Python, and eventually you can move into the C languages, the harder languages to master, the low-level language. Okay. Okay. Once again, career and job strategies. Okay. Post a good LinkedIn profile photo. Okay. Post your research on LinkedIn. I mentioned that previously. And if someone sends you a friend request on LinkedIn, yeah, just accept it and increase your network. Okay. Try to increase that network. After some time, there's a good chance that you're a recruiter through your LinkedIn network. Okay. If you can't find a job, create a job, start a business. Okay. In countries like Israel, all these new startups, they are promoted by the government. People are promoting startups, promoting individuals to start their own businesses in the cybersecurity field. Okay. That's something, even in Sri Lanka, the government provides various incentives for these new startups. So you could look into that area. Startups can innovate and move at a rapid pace. I mentioned it before. The large companies, it's very bureaucratic. Okay, you want to get anything done, you have to go up several layers up the management. Okay, sometimes you won't get anything done again. Okay, if you build a tool, make it available as a SaaS tool, as a subscription. Okay, you build some kind of cybersecurity tool. I don't know. You might build your own C2 someday in the future. Make it available on a subscription basis. Okay. Your current defense will determine what your future is. Okay. Always associate yourself with like-minded people, whatever field you're in. Okay. If you're into music, okay, associate yourself with like-minded people. Okay. If you're involved in InfoSec, okay, be with that community. Okay. Start your own Telegram and Discord groups. Okay, I have 2 Telegram and Discord groups. I have friends from various nationalities and various geographic locations. Okay. You might have heard of Nathaniel Metanand on LinkedIn. He's the famous malware researcher. Okay, and he has started his own startup called Marksman Research. I collaborate with him every day for about 1 or 2 hours. We get together on Google Meet and we collaborate on malware development and reverse engineering and stuff like that. So collaborate with individuals. That's really important. Okay. Not all of them. Well, during my collaborative sessions, some individuals drop off the discussion, but some of them, Nathaniel and a few of them, they remain till the end. Okay. Sometimes the research we do, it's unsuccessful, but at times we succeed in what we are doing and I'm happy about it. Okay. Some tips on personal development and well-being. Okay, your studies and your career, they come later on. Put your family first. Your family is important. Okay, studies and career, they come later on. Okay, you must have, your family is your foundation. That foundation must be well built. Take care of your health, work out, maintain a good work-life balance. Okay, don't be working all the time. Take breaks. Maintain a good work-life balance. Okay, always think on the long term. Write your blog if you have a blog or something. Okay, where you can post your the research and stuff you have done. That's really important. Okay. So if you take a look at fields like web pen testing, these are competitive fields. You're better off focusing on some of the tough fields like malware and exploit development. what I've noticed is with malware and exploit development, it's not easy to learn, but it doesn't cost much to learn. Okay, whereas other fields, you'll have to set up a large red teaming lab with 10 to 15 even computers. Okay, with malware development, I even run the malware on my host machine at times. Okay, one VM would do, even one VM would do. At times I run it on my host machine, but in other fields like red teaming or stuff, you have to set up a large lab environment, 10 to 15 computers. Okay, so malware development is not easy to learn, but you can do it without much cost. Okay. One thing my former R&D manager, Mr. Sachin Dioda, he's someone who carried cyber espionage and sabotage for the Indian government. He was my former R&D manager. He said, always follow the APT groups and try to replicate what they do in your work. Okay. You'll have to be good at coding and stuff for this, but something you'll have to do if you have to excel in the field. Okay. Follow the APT groups. You've seen blog posts and stuff about APT groups. Just follow them and try to replicate what they do. Follow blogs by research companies. Okay. The CyberArk organization, IS, they have some good blogs on artificial intelligence and red teaming. Okay, so you can follow their blogs. Okay. We've discussed about this previously. Okay, so use artificial intelligence is only as powerful as the person using it. You don't need to worry about it if you have some kind of worry over it. Okay, it's not something that's alive or conscious. It's as powerful as the person using it. Okay, that's all there is. Use it to automate any repetitive tasks. Okay. Now I have a coding assistant called Cursor. I have integrated my OpenAI API key into it. So I don't need to type lines of code one by one. I just need to give the prompt and the code just comes out. Okay. That's something you could look into. Try to build agentic software. Okay. Don't build a single agent, build multiple agents if you're entering this field, and have each agent handle a specific task. Okay. Jeff Sims, I mentioned him before. He's someone who developed the AI malware I spoke of in the previous slide. So that's something he mentioned. Use the agentic software for your cybersecurity malware or whatever you're building. Finally, I would like to say with AI, you have expertise at your fingertips, not just information. Okay. So previously, if you take so many thousands of years in the past, there were books flying around. Okay. Later on, they put together libraries. Then computers came along. Then Google came along. Okay. All of these just put information at your fingertips. But with AI, you have expertise at your fingertips, not just information. Okay. So keep that in mind. And most of the cybersecurity roles I mentioned. Okay, you could just learn everything at high level, and with AI, you can adapt to any of those roles. I spoke about being a forensic investigator and a red team. Okay, if you learn these things at a high level, you don't need to go with it. You don't need to go in depth into them. Just learn them at high level, and with AI, you can adapt to any of those roles. So that's what I mean by you have expertise at your fingertips and not just information. Okay. Okay, so in my last LinkedIn post, I demonstrated a AI-driven malware similar to what Jeff Sims had built. Okay, it takes Telegram as a seed, so you can put in prompts into Telegram, and it's executed on the target. So we have seen it identify business critical files. Okay, and it encrypts just them. The baby photo is left untouched, but all the business critical files are all encrypted. Okay. I have a small video on my end. I won't be able to give a live demo because of the sensitive nature of the prompts I'm using, but let's see. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So in this instance, I have Sentinel-1 running on the target environment. Okay. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so let me pause for a moment. So I entered this ChatGPT prompt in here, and the command hello world is executed on the target end. Okay, then I asked it to print the current working directory, and it outputs the get location command, and it's executed on the target end. So let me get you a screenshot of Sentinel-1 running. Okay, so I took it one step. I took a page out of the cyber arc blog post where they execute a AI-driven keylogger. Yeah. So the prompt was entered into Telegram, and on the target end, as you can see, Sentinel-1 is running in the background here. So whatever I enter into a text file is logged. It's logged into yet another text file in the temporary folder. Okay. Later on, we could exfiltrate that data. As you can see, Sentinel-1 is running in the background over here, and it doesn't pick up anything. I won't be able to give you a live demo of it because of the sensitive nature of the prompts I'm using. Okay, as you can see, okay, I successfully executed a keylogger despite an EDR being present in the environment. Okay, on previous instances, I've executed even ransomware as I demonstrated in the previous screenshot. Okay. Any questions from your end?
Thank you very much, Mr. Vimsuri, for that insightful and presentation. We now have some time for questions and answers. If you have any questions, please type them into the chat, and I'll read them out loud for Mr. Vimla Surya to answer. So our first question is from Sachin Anjana. Question is, can you give some research ideas on the intersection of cyber terrorism and AI?
Yes, one of the examples. Yes, so one of the examples I gave was the ransomware being deployed. So that is an area where cyber terrorism and AI could intersect. You could create a proof of concept for your research on something like that. Okay, the ransomware deployment, even the keylogger example that I demonstrated, it's an instance where cyber terrorism and AI could be combined. What else? In a mass misinformation campaign, using voice and video clones is another area where it could combine. Yeah, there are numerous examples. I'm just giving a few. Yeah. Any other questions?
We have another question. As a software engineering student, what are the best paths to move into the security field?
Yes, you're better off as becoming an exploit developer or a malware developer. Okay, because you have coding experience, that's the best path for you to follow if you're moving into the cybersecurity field. I have also a lot of coding experience, and I used it to become an exploit and a malware developer. So if you're into software engineering, that's the best path for you to follow if you're entering the cybersecurity. Yeah.
I'm inviting everyone to. If you have any questions, please type them into the chat.
You're welcome.
We have another question. What are your thoughts on the rising rates of disinformation with the help of AI? People need to be educated on verifying information they see on the internet. What approaches can we take to verify information?
Yes, that's a good question. Basically, it's a tricky question as well. Well, you'll take, for example, the deepfake videos and audios that we discussed previously. Okay, if you encounter such a situation, you're better off contacting the individual on a separate call or something to verify its authenticity. Okay, as we saw in the incident with the Hong Kong company employee who appeared to be on a video conference call, and he was tricked into sending money into a hacker's account. Okay, so if you find yourself in such a situation and you have some doubt, it's better to get on a different call or something and just with the individual and verify that just to get a verification of what is actually happening. Yes, it's a tricky situation. Yeah. You're welcome.
We have another question. Do job interviews expect a lot of coding experience to get in the ethical hacking field?
No,
Like
you
different
don't.
coding language.
Yes, you won't need coding experience to get into the ethical hacking field. But if you want to progress in the field, you will definitely need a lot of coding experience. Okay, that is something I like to say. You can become a pen tester or an ethical hacker without coding, but if you want to progress in the field, then it's critical that you need coding experience. Okay.
We have another question. Is there any demand for networking these days?
Yes, there is a demand for networking. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of messages coming here. Okay, someone asked me what's the best certification for cybersecurity. Yes, I cannot specifically mention a certification, but you must focus on the certification that gives you the real world skills. Okay, that is something that's very important. Okay. Take, for example, the offensive security certifications, they'll get you past HR, but I've heard on instances where an individual who was OSCP certified wasn't able to perform an Active Directory engagement in a client environment. And he had to, his OSCP certification was useless at that point, and he had to revert to different certifications that would provide real world skills. I've seen that in blog posts, and so I cannot promote any certification right now, but do some research on it and find the certification that will provide the most real world skills. Someone asked about it will be a problem for the segment. Okay, now once again, AI is a tool, and it's only as powerful as the person using it. Okay, so I don't see any problem with artificial intelligence. Okay, if you adopt artificial intelligence, then it won't be a problem for you. Always try to automate your tasks with AI, and whatever repetitive tasks you have automated, build agentic systems and use it to your advantage. Okay. As a software engineer undergraduate, was no prior knowledge whatsoever. If you are a software engineering undergraduate, it won't be a problem for you to master some kind of low-level language like the C language, like C#, or maybe even the C language or C++. So that would be a good starting point for you to enter the field. You can, if you have a software engineering background, I'd advise you to become an exploit or a malware developer. It's easy to adopt and enter that field. Yeah, that's what I advise. Yeah. Yeah, the dark web, it's something, it's a place I visit all the time. I use it to interact with certain individuals. Okay. There's nothing to fear about it. There's a lot of information on the dark web, more than the clear web. So use it to your advantage. Okay. You can visit these APT group websites on the dark web. You can interact with certain individuals in the dark web. Okay. And you can learn a lot through it. So use it to your advantage. If there are demanding services with government sector, Sri Lanka. Yes, unfortunately, all the in Europe and North America and Asia Pacific, those markets are the most in demand for cybersecurity. Sri Lanka, well, maybe not, but as I said, if you enter the field, there's no chance. There's a good chance that you'll end up working from home for a foreign organization, and you could do it in the comfort of your home. No need to get ready every day in the morning and go to work. Okay, so you have enough time to relax and focus on your studies as well. So even if you don't find a position in Sri Lanka, there's a good chance you'll end up working for a foreign company or something. Okay, is there a value of doing a networking degree? Yes. Yes, I would say there is a value because it's a growing field of cybersecurity. Okay, it's also a field of cybersecurity. Okay, you will learn to work with various firewalls, configuring firewalls, VPN, host-based intrusion detection systems, NIDS. So it's a necessary part of cybersecurity. So it will be worth getting a degree in that field. Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah, digital forensics would be looking into malware internals and digital artifacts left after cyber attack. Okay, you will be involved in take help in the legal proceedings that follow. Okay, so that's a interesting field too. You'll have to do a lot of reverse engineering and reverse engineering malware most of the time, and looking for the domains that it communicates with, and to try and track down the threat actor. So that's the field of digital forensics. I haven't actually taken the CCNA or the CCNP certifications, but yes, I've heard a lot of good points about it. So yes, I would encourage you to follow that path. And yes, it's valid taking those certifications, yes. You're welcome.
All right, I think it's the end of the questions. So I think session went well. Thank you all for your excellent questions, and to Mr. Vimal Surya for your detailed responses. Imandi, the session is now over to you.
That brings us to the end of our event today. We hope you found it insightful and valuable. Before we conclude, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude. I would like to extend sincere I would like to extend our sincere thanks to Mr. Joseph Vimal Surya for taking the time to share his knowledge and experiences with us. Your insights have been incredibly valuable and inspiring. We also want to thank all our participants for your active engagement and thoughtful questions. Additionally, I would like to express my gratitude to the ISACA NSBM student chapter for organizing this event. Your hard work and dedication have made this session possible, and we appreciate all your efforts in bringing us together for this important discussion.
So, as a token of our appreciation, we would like to present Mr. Vimal Surya with a digital token of appreciation. Let me share my screen to display.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Small gesture to thank you for your time and contribution to our event.
You're welcome.
So, before we conclude, we would love to capture this moment. Could I kindly ask to everyone to turn on their cameras so we can take a group photo? I'll give everyone a moment to get ready so we can have a group photo. Guys, just turn on your cameras so we can have a group photo. All right, on the count of 3, everyone smiles. 1, 2, 3. All right, Imandi.
You were done. Thank you all for joining us today. We hope you found this session informative and inspiring. Have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you at our future events. Goodbye.